Greater Good Radio. Connect, learn, heal, and grow.
The big day for me is April 21st, because on April 21st, I received my last wound. And the last wound blew my arm off. So that meant that I can never be a surgeon. See, I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon. I had it all figured out. But that was out of the question. And I'm going to tell you something that very few people are aware of. In World War II, when the battles were so intense and so large, the casualty rates were in the hundreds, thousands. And these field hospitals really were not able to accommodate them. We had no helicopters. In my case, I was evacuated at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I got to the field hospital at midnight, 9 hours. So when you get to the hospital, you got a whole bunch of people on stretchers. And a crew comes around, a couple of physicians and a couple of attendants, and they'll look at this and say, tent number 1, tent number 1, tent number 2, tent number 3. Do you know what that meant? 1 in that case meant treat them right away. Number 2, take it easy because this one can last a long time. Number 3, forget it. That's on the verge of death. I was in tent number 3. And the chaplain came by and he says, God loves you. I said, I'm certain he loves me, but I'm not ready to see him yet, you know. And he looked at me, he says, you know, I believe you. I said, yes, I've got a whole life ahead of me. So I went to tent number 1.
Did you mean he moved you to tent number 1?
He called in the staff and says, take him to tent number 1. I had 17 transfusions. So the crew did not make a mistake. You know, if they hadn't looked after me for a couple of more hours, I think I would have just faded away.
How were you coherent at the time?
Well, it's part of discipline, because after you've been in combat for about a year, you know that once you sleep, you go into shock, and that's it. So I made certain I was awake. See, my last wound was at noon, but I stayed until 3 to get the men settled down. And I just determined to stay awake. I carried on a stretcher all the way for 9 hours, up and down mountains.
If you resonate with Greater Good Radio, please join our community at www.greatergoodradio.com, where you can get access to exclusive content and offerings. Hope to see you soon.